Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to Peter and Roughie's football show, sponsored by Arnold Clark. It is Thursday. I'm Peter Martin. Thank you very much for joining us on the programme. In the studio with me, Alan Rough and Tam Cowan. There's lots to discuss on the field and off the field. No surprise the coronavirus is dominating the headlines, not only politically, but of course on sporting programmes like this one, because it has an effect on all the football that we are looking forward to. And of course, Rangers against Bayer Leverkusen tonight. But after that, in Scotland, certainly after Rangers against Celtic on Sunday, it looks as if we could be facing a situation where the games could be played behind closed doors. That's the worry as the coronavirus escalates, and we monitor it on a daily basis. This one is a real worry. This is the statement that's come out regarding coronavirus from UEFA in the light of the ongoing developments in the spread of COVID-19 across Europe and the changing analysis of the World Health Organization. UEFA has today invited representatives of its 55 member associations, together with the boards of the European Club Association and the European Leagues, and a representative of FIFPro to attend meetings by video conference on Tuesday, 17th of March, to discuss European football's response to the outbreak. Discussions will include all domestic and European competitions, including UEFA Euro 2020. Further communication will be made following those meetings. So, we're moving up a level again now, Roughie, and it looks as if, fans are going to have to get used to the next stage will be behind closed doors for many games.
Yeah, it looks as if it's a positive reaction, and we'd like to think that everybody would go along with the powers that be who decide this. They're not treating it lightly, and if that is the case, then we just have to go on with it.
Leagues across Europe, Tam, they're all reacting to this.
It's clearly a serious business if even UEFA representatives are talking about a video conference rather than getting everybody together for a junket in Hawaii,
yes,
as you would expect, So it is serious business, and I think it's one that you've just got to leave to the experts. There is quite a lot of ignorance on this topic kicking about just now, and I'm sure we have already displayed some of it when we were maybe doing our Facebook live show there. There may even be bits and bobs coming up here, but we can only speak as football fans, and I think if the sensible suggestion is to play games behind closed doors for the rest of the season, as long as we can get as much TV access as possible so that the fans are able to see the action, because I would still like to see Motherwell's push for third place in the league and hopefully into Europe next season. So if that means that extra cameras going in for Sky, extra cameras in for BT Sport, if it means the BBC getting a better deal, if it means they must still have some old cameras somewhere at STV, Peter, for the old Scott Sport or Football Thursdays, get them out, get the games on the telly, because if you don't, what you are going to find as well, fans, quite rightly, might have a case against the Scottish governing bodies or against UEFA or against their own clubs if they have bought season tickets. Now, we know this thing is global and it's very, very serious, and you'd imagine folk to say, look, forget it, it's a couple of games you're missing, don't be so daft. But fans have forked out the money that could be spent on toilet rolls and hand sanitisers. Yeah. So they might have a case for getting some money back. But as I say, it's huge now. With every passing hour, we're hearing something else about this coronavirus, and every time, as he did there, that Roughie coughs, I suddenly get a wee bit of a wobble.
Well, you should hear my producer in my ear every time she coughs. I'm getting mega worried, to be honest with you. But as far as cancelling the games, that's obviously for many fans certainly something they're not wanting. Playing behind closed doors, Stephen Gerrard acknowledges that might be a better option.
Of course, if that's what we're told to do, we'll have to do it. I think it'd be a real big shame for everyone around Europe and the world if the league campaigns and cup competitions can't finish, because people have earned the opportunity to get to the stage where everyone's at. So I don't want to see anything finish right now. If we're told the only way to get stuff finished off is to play behind closed doors, and we're told to do that, we'll follow.
Well, those decisions are looming ever closer. As far as decisions elsewhere, La Liga closed until April 15th, Serie A closed until April 13th, League One in France closed until April 15th as well. So decisions are coming with coronavirus, especially on these shores as well.
And maybe a wee sneaky one there for Stevie G about playing behind closed doors, because, for in recent games for the past 15-20 minutes, Rangers have been playing in front of no fans anyway. Yeah. So, that might be trying to get a wee unfair advantage here, you never know. Yeah, a lot of ignorance with this as well, Peter, as you know, because it would appear that, about the coronavirus itself, you'd be led to believe that the Hearts players think you can catch the virus off a win bonus.
Yeah.
You can't.
Don't forget, Tam's not on Twitter, which allows him not to get an immediate reaction on most of these things. But looking at Rangers against Leverkusen, which is going ahead, of course, it's a big game for Rangers against top drawer outfit from the Bundesliga. Our reporter Gabriel Antoniazzi looks ahead to the game.
Welcome to Ibrox. Now, Rangers' season domestically may have all but ended in the last month, but they are alive and kicking in Europe. They're aiming to make the quarter-finals of the Europa League for the first time in 12 years when they welcome Bayer Leverkusen for the biggest game of their season this evening from 8 o'clock. Now, the threat of coronavirus did loom over this game, however it will go ahead with fans inside. Ryan Jack and Jermaine Defoe will miss the match through injury, however, and Captain James Tavernier faces a very late fitness test to see if he will make this one. Scott Arfield, who's likely to start in the midfield for the Gers, believes that they must recreate their Braga form to stand a chance of winning this evening.
If you look at the Braga performances and as the two games, I think we deserve to be in this on merit. I think the two performances were, particularly the last half an hour, obviously here, getting the 3 goals and going after them, and then a completely different performance over there when we were compact and contained them for the large periods of the game, and Ryan scores his goal. So we're going to need that sort of belief, that sort of structure within this if we're going to go any further.
Well, how about their opponents, the Germans then? They are 4th in the Bundesliga. Leverkusen have won 10 of their 12 matches since returning from the winter break, so they are in form. How did they get to this stage of the Europa League? Well, they were knocked out of the Champions League by Juventus and Atletico Madrid, and then beat Porto home and away in the last 32, a team that Rangers, of course, did not lose to in their own group campaign. Keep an eye out as well for forward Kai Havertz. The 20-year-old is already a star for the national team and is being tipped for the very top sides on the continent. Steven Gerrard is wary of the threat that Peter Bosch's side will pose.
This is a team that's competing with Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund and Leipzig, who have shown over the last 2-3 weeks in the Champions League that they compete with the top teams in the Premier League. So we know what we're dealing with, we know the challenge. But going back to the first question, this is an opportunity that we all want to try and look forward to and relish, and go and give it our best shot.
So it'll have to be the performance of the season if Rangers are to take a lead over to Leverkusen for next week's game, which will be behind closed doors. Now, when speaking to Steven Gerrard yesterday, he highlighted 2 factors that were very important. Whoever leads the line, whether it is Alfredo Morelos or Florian Camberry, must deliver, and the crowd, as ever, must be behind this side. Ibrox awaits.
Yeah, big game. This is a German side that Roughie unbeaten in the last 9, and only 3 sides above them in that Bundesliga. You're looking at RB Leipzig, you are looking at Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich. The calibre of the teams that they're playing against every week.
Yeah, this is a cut above for the Rangers team of the teams that played previously in the tournament. It'll have to be a big game from not 1 or 2 players, but all the players. I looked at that Leipzig result against Spurs and they won very comfortably. It's a really strong league with really good players. So have to be a big statement for Rangers tonight.
Yeah, and the Leverkusen manager Peter Bosz has said that he reckons the whole Europa League competition should be cancelled, just basically because he reckons next week's game's devalued because he thinks Rangers will get an advantage when they're playing behind closed doors in Germany.
Well, I think if UEFA were going to cancel it, they'd have done that today. Before you get into the next section of Champions League football, now we've completed the last round, and before this new round of the Europa League gets underway, so it was either or, but I think closed doors is fair enough just to get the completion of all the tournaments. If that's all it takes, absolutely fine. And you know what, Peter, in the grand scheme of things, when there are schools closing, when hospitals are under pressure, when there's talk of people losing out wages, salary, working people can't get to their jobs, when you're talking about businesses maybe closing down because they couldn't go with a period even 2 weeks without any money coming in, I think it's it's a wee bit naughty of us to get our knickers in a twist when we're talking about football.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, the big question is cancellations. If the league were to be cancelled completely, what would the decision be with regards to who are champions, who's getting relegated? Would it all stay the same? That would certainly upset teams in the Championship who are hoping they've got an opportunity to come up to the Premiership in Scotland next season. But what about in the Premiership itself? Who would be champions? Well, Scott Brown's under no illusions about that.
It ends, it stays as it is. At the end of the day, as I say, the main thing is we make sure everyone's okay, they're all safe, and we try and catch this on the head as soon as we possibly can. And football kind of takes a second step there as it does, but obviously we still want to play football. We still want to go out there and win as many games as we possibly can, whether it's in front of the fans or not. Obviously it'll be sad if there's no fans there, because it's what football's all about, the fans being there to support you, whether at home or away.
13 points better off than Rangers at the moment, 25 goals the difference in their favour. But yet again, if they stopped it and declared Celtic the champions, as ever in the west of Scotland, there'd be a riot.
Yeah, I mean, having listened to Scott Brown there and put his words into a different order to form sentences, what he's clearly trying to say there is that he thinks Celtic should be crowned champions because they're 13 points clear, and any player at any club who is 13 points clear is of course going to say the same thing. A precedent will be set here if that indeed happens, but the tricky bit is, and it's not as much as Celtic and Rangers fans would argue about this for now to Kingdom Come, it's not about the top end of the league where the real bother would come in. Celtic are 13 points clear. There may even be Rangers fans who would say, you know what, give them it, they've scooshed it, we need to improve for next season. But it's down at that bottom end. What do? Do you just tell the Championship clubs, by the way, Hearts are safe, they might be bottom, but we've had to end it there? Or do you say to Hearts, imagine this scenario, Pete, you say to Hearts, you know what, you're bottom now, so you're going down. And Hearts might say, but wait a minute, we were quite confident when picking off teams in the bottom six when the league splits, we were quite confident it'd been safe, but that's where the muddle would ensue. It's utterly fascinating. I can't wait to see how this develops.
Yeah, it is a crazy one. I don't envy anyone coming
and listen, I can take the Scott Brown line here and I can say, finish it now, Motherwell are third, Aberdeen are fourth. We play them tomorrow night. Aberdeen may beat us tomorrow night and they would jump ahead there. So stop the league now and we get into Europe.
Yeah, and that I think is the essence.
Oh dear.
That I think is the essence of every fan in Scotland at the moment. I've got to ask you, Roughie. I know you've got the implications for Partick Thistle, but
Peter, it doesn't matter what. I don't envy whoever's going to come out with the announcement, but it doesn't matter what the announcement is. You're never going to please everybody.
No. Never.
Not for the Premier League to the Championship, the First Division, the Second Division.
Here's a question for you, Roughie. Rangers against Celtic, 50,000, Ibrox Park, Sunday. Do you make it behind closed doors? Is that the right call to make now? Because that call is gathering pace.
Yeah, I think that's maybe just a bit too late now to come to that decision. Probably is the right decision, but if they've made a decision it's going to be Monday, they're going to announce it. just carry on with it.
To be fair, I don't think it's too late, Tam.
No, it's not too late. Go behind closed doors and just get both sets of fans maybe to take along picnic baskets and shawls and sit outside the ground and mingle with each other and have a laugh about the old days.
Like America, tailgate.
Yeah,
I think that would work a treat.
Yeah, unfortunately, Tam lives in a parallel world, not the one I'm living in.
Tell the police to take a day off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, how glad you I sneezed in that direction. Eh?
By the way, can I just say
You'd be
something
toast.
to you? What about Christopher Ayer? I mean, he said he was happy to stay at Celtic. I see the old classic from the agent. There's nothing worse than an agent like derailing a player. And his agent, Torrey Pedersen, says he'll leave at the end of the season.
Yeah, I've said this all along. It's a derailment in a football club when you get agents coming out with that. You know, the player is obviously saying he wants to give 100%, but obviously agents make a lot of money out of their players moving. And it's something that the manager would have to deal with, and I'm sure he will deal with it. Have a chat with the player and possibly the agent as well, because it's not something you want to be talking about with so many important things to go in the season.
Yeah, 2 quick points to finish, guys. St Mirren against Hearts. Well done to St Mirren. Thoroughly deserving of the 3 points. Suddenly everybody's talking about Hearts. It's looking grim, Roughie.
No, we keep talking about, you know, the win against Rangers, right? This is a kickstart, another win, this is a kickstart. It's just not happening. The players just aren't capable enough to string 3 and 4 results together, and that's the problem.
Tam, look at the table. I mean, it's a sorry tale for Hearts fans when you see the bottom of the Premiership, because there they are, 4 points adrift of Hamilton Accies, and then a further, 6 all the way up to Ross County and St Mirren. It's dire times there, and I think people will start to look for the ultimate blame in this predicament.
Well, they've won 4 games this season, and 3 of those were against Hibs twice and Rangers. And the only other win they recorded was against last night's opponent, St Mirren, earlier in the season. So the alarming thing for me, if I was a Hearts fan, would be they can clearly raise their game for the Edinburgh derbies and for the game against Rangers. And they also beat Rangers in the Cup, of course, But now that they're guaranteed bottom 6, I don't see any teams there that Hearts would raise their game against, because it's all the Diddy teams, if you like, that are now in the bottom 6. So I would be petrified now. If I was a Hearts fan, I'd be worrying where the next 3 points was going to come from.
Yeah. Ruffy, do you think they're gone?
It's only 4 points, Tam said there. When it comes to the split, it's 15 points. You have to believe that you're good enough to beat the teams down below, but they haven't shown any of that, as Tam said. So it's a big ask for now at the end of the season.
OK, I've got to get your thoughts on this, Ruffy. As Tam was mentioning there, this whole coronavirus has escalated to the point where we're now in a situation where I think Scotland against Israel will be behind closed doors. It'll just be our luck if we manage to qualify and they cancel Euro 2020, which is on the table for discussion.
Yeah, that'd be an absolute shocker, not just for the supporters but for the players themselves. It's always great to get to a big tournament, and there's so many of them haven't been to a big tournament. It could be their last chance, so let's hope that somebody somewhere can curtail this virus.
And you know what, Peter, of all the European Championships, of all the major finals that we've had in the past, this one, of course, it's the setup that they probably didn't want in the era of a coronavirus, because it's not just all the games in the one country, spread out everywhere. And that, to me, I'm not a scientist, but that looks as if that is the worst possible setup. So I can just see it being canned.
Yeah, I don't want to accelerate that possibility, but of course Scotland were due to announce their squad. That's been postponed, that announcement by Steve Clarke, we're hearing, just on the basis that obviously UEFA are discussing so many of the big sporting events, Ruffy. So clearly sport is going to be affected by this. I would go as far as to say I think a lot of people will be looking over the next 24 hours at that big game at Ibrox. Is the most sensible thing to do just make this game behind closed doors? We are entering uncharted waters. It's certainly nothing that anyone in football and across the United Kingdom, never mind sport, we certainly haven't experienced in anything like this on the scale of this. Would it be better to say to Rangers and Celtic fans, this one's just not happening? It's a huge game, but there are so many people heading to one arena. It should be behind closed doors. I think everyone better get ready for that possibility. And just just on the footnote to football that we watched last night, Champions League. The champions are out.
Yeah, they certainly had enough chances to win that game, Peter. I just watched most of the highlights and they must have had about 15, 20 chances. Obviously, goalkeeper in top form in one end, and in the other end, unfortunately for Liverpool, they didn't have their number one. And if he had been playing, they'd have been into the next round.
And your team are still in there, Paris Saint-Germain,
yes.
knocked out Dortmund. You happy with that,
Yeah,
Roughie?
happy with it. That was behind closed doors as well. And yeah, the big players come up with the goods. And as you keep saying, it's all the big teams that are left.
Absolutely delighted to see Liverpool get out after the great disdain with which they treated their fans. The FA Cup game against Chelsea, Liverpool fans paying top dollar, paying for travel to get down to London. All the Scousers hoping, because they've got a great team now, to be able to get down there and get it right up the Cockneys and gloat about how good they were and go back for London into the next round of the Cup. But they've gone along with that, playing the second string in the FA Cup. The FA Cup, for goodness sake, even Scottish folk revere that competition, you know. So I think hell mend them.
Okay, there you are. We've ended the programme on a high note, just a happy note as well. If you are a Scouser and you're watching the show, don't forget to join us tomorrow if you can and give us your thoughts on it all. At PLZ Soccer on Twitter. Facebook Live. Tam has been on Facebook Live today, dancing no less on a couch. You don't often see that on Facebook Live. Monday to Friday we're there to answer your points of view. And let's not forget also on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel, you'll get not only Peter and Roughie's football show, but you get the podcast every week. You can watch it. Tommy Sheridan, no less, is our guest. Tomorrow it's released at 6 o'clock. Hopefully you can enjoy the podcast on Spotify, Libsyn, Deezer and Apple, as well as watching it on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. Now, for the benefit of Alec McGowan, who thought he was going to Manchester City against Real Madrid, along with me, Roughie, Barry, and of course,
I'll take him for a night out.
Darren Jackson.
I'll take him for a curry.
Tam might offer you a curry, but don't worry, Alec. We will definitely get to a game, hopefully, when we are all through what is a very difficult time for everyone across the globe with the coronavirus. But the prize is still there for you.
Thistle against Alloa.
Yeah.
I know, it's up at Inverness.
Yeah,
Match hostility.
Incidentally, just to finish, you can still enter our competition to win yourself a car courtesy of Arnold Clark. It is a Peugeot 3008. All you have to do is go to our Facebook page, have a look at the question, get involved. If you can answer it, you're in the hat. Register your details and you're in the hat to try and bend the ball through the moving car to win yourself a Peugeot 3008. I've said enough. Enjoy your football. Stay safe. From Roughie, from Tam Cowan and myself, Peter Martin, thank you for watching.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.